Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Smoke Signal stream. I'm here again with a lot of members of Cavemanon to bring a lot of updates regarding our two major projects, I Want to Hug That Gator and Exit 665. We have a lot of news to talk about today. I am joined here by a lot of familiar faces.
Hello, it's Sly, or lead writer of Cavemanon.
Hi, this is Work. I am the lead writer of the I Want to Hunt the Gator game.
Hello, Michael, king of waking up 7 minutes before stream and the lead programmer.
And I return as Heartsick.
Excellent, thank you. Okay. So we have news regarding Exit and Wani today, as normal. I want to touch on briefly before we start that just a few couple days ago, just 2 days ago, we released another game, A Star in Her Eyes, which you can find on our or on our itch page. This is a short visual novel starring Lyra, who will be in Exit 665. This is the third game in among a series of short visual novels starring characters in the Exit cast. The previous two being She's a Bit Sluggish, starring Dory, and She Likes You a Lot, starring Forelli. After this, we're going to be getting into one for Doom, which is the Robot Girl, and then after that, later down the line, Tulip. We can get into that in a bit more detail later on. I wanted to preface by saying that. And with that, we can get right into Wani news.
Thanks, Nerd. Thanks, Nerd, for that introduction. In terms of Wani news, we have a couple new characters to kind of show off for today's stream. Like last month, we wanted to kind of highlight the characters. We wanted to highlight the characters in kind of a unique way. We wanted to continue doing these character bio sheets that we've been doing last month. It gives us a lot of opportunity to kind of dig deep as both writers and artists for these characters and kind of really explore like what they're about. Everybody's yelling at me for this, saying the stream is not working, and unfortunately, I do not know why, because on my end, it's all good, so I apologize.
Yeah, it's swapping like very frequently between a white screen with a gray strip on top and what should be the first slide.
Huh. Oh, that's interesting. I'm not sure why that's occurring. On my end, we're all hunky dory, so I apologize again.
You could try restarting the.
Yeah, let me apologize, everybody. Let me try to restart real quick.
You are not seeing what you are seeing right now.
You do not see that.
Technical.
We are professional streamers. uh,
It is what it is. This sort of thing happens sometimes.
yeah, it's can't be perfect 100% of the time, but we can try. That's a yes. We are trying to get this working. One sec.
Nope. Still.
Is that still a white screen?
Try going to the other slides. Full screen the window. Oh, no.
Is it still not? It's so bizarre. We apologize, everybody. Clearly, we did not practice this enough beforehand. I swear nothing on my end than last month, so I have no clue what's happening. Is it still widescreened?
Full screen the slideshow.
The slideshow is full screened. Like everything is full screen on my end.
Lovely. I could try just streaming the PDF directly. Although that'll probably might not work.
This is interesting.
It works when you're not in presentation mode.
Yeah, everyone else is getting a really nice view of this.
Let me just open it up again. Let me see if that might work.
smoke being streamed is from the dev's computer. Very
Chat, trust us, okay? We are very competent, very technical team, okay? You're gonna be blown away by what we have to show you. Oh, hey.
all right.
You got it?
Oh, that may not. Nope.
Okay. To BS mode until this works.
Okay. See,
It's
is
working.
that working properly this time?
Yep.
Yeah, I see it.
Jesus Christ, I have no idea why that fucking didn't work. I apologize.
Okay.
Professionalism.
That was so weird. Yeah, I have no clue. Literally, yeah, I acknowledge. Not you want to count us down again? We can get right back into this. I apologize, everybody.
No, we're still streaming. Just try swapping through a few slides real fast.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Unfortunately, my compatriots are gonna have to tell me if this is actually working or not.
Yep, it's working. Okay, yeah.
Okay. Back to what I was saying, and I apologize again for all of the technical difficulties. I have no clue what was going on. I'll just reiterate that we're going to continue to explore kind of more of the main cast of Wani. These character bio sheets give us a chance to kind of like do a big deep dive, both artistically and in terms of the writing of these characters, to kind of show off a lot of like salient details about them, the important information, things like that, and present them in a fun way. So, without further ado, of course, I say that after having fumbling around for 5 minutes.
It happens. It happens.
It happens, yes. All right. So the first character we wanted to kind of do a dive into was Damien. Damien's role in the story is certainly he's most equatable to like a big friendly dog in terms of his personality. Certainly a friendly kind of companion for Inko and Olivia. Damien is definitely somebody who's kind of in their core group. His personality is definitely flighty. Certainly somebody you want in your corner, but not somebody you want doing your school assignments with. He's more concerned about having a good time than maybe necessarily being the most focused student at St. Hammond. His character bio sheet then is kind of a representation of his kind of lackadays attitude. The rough nature of this was kind of chosen for that and to kind of represent that purpose.
As always, we'll be releasing these in a full resolution after the stream.
Yes. So you can see all the great work our artists have been doing. Damien's certainly an interesting character in Wani. There's a lot of hidden depth to Damien, and we've kind of discovered this as we've been writing him, in that when you initially give the character brief, everybody kind of thinks of him as more just like a dumb oaf. But I think he plays a very valuable role in the story. He's a good balance to a lot of the characters in terms of not only the comedic scenes, which obviously his personality lent itself very well to, but the more serious scenes as well. He has an interesting role in the story that I hope everybody is kind of going to be excited to explore.
Yes. When it comes to Damien, like a lot of people will would initially see him as this immature, like really, really childish character, but like when you start to get to know him a bit more, it's not that he's like an out and out idiot or anything like that. He's very much a character that he lets all his thoughts out like all the time. Like you can 100% trust that what Damien says is what's exactly going through his head at the moment.
Yes.
Very straightforward, very honest character.
I think Sly hit a good point. Honesty is very key to Damien's personality. Obviously, when you're writing a complex character, an easy way to make them complex is to make them, mysterious and inscrutable. And that's not necessarily what we went with Damien. We wanted to make Damien complex in his and the presentation of his honesty and what that means to a lot of characters.
Like, how often do you look at your friend and like you can't help but think that like he really needs to like take a moment to actually like process his thoughts, but like this is just how he is. He like all his thoughts are on full display for everyone to see.
Yes, and the going kind of like twinning off of that is that if you have somebody who doesn't necessarily filter their thoughts, excuse me, you're getting the rawest version of themselves. And I think that's what Damien is. Damien is very raw, both positives and negatives. You're going to get exactly what he feels. There's not going to be any filter.
And he's been a lot of fun to write, honestly. Like,
Yeah, Damien is definitely enjoyable. I mean, if you wanted to boil him down, I think you could boil him down as a joke character, but I think that's kind of diminishing his role in the story. So, um, certainly a more complex, a lot going on underneath the surface. We're going to move on to the next character we're going to highlight here.
I believe it's one of everyone's favorites.
Yes, so of course, the next character we're going to talk about is Liz. Liz seems to be a fan favorite amongst the community. She's certainly very endlessly entertaining to write jokes for, to produce art for. Kind of her long neck status has been a huge blast and just a really welcome kind of difference to incorporate in the script, incorporate in the coding in terms of how she operates as a character, in terms of her sprite work, in terms of the art you can produce for her. She's so unique, and I think that's really what people have latched on to. But Liz is it's easy to equate Liz kind of to just her like a one-dimensional character. She's a bunch of long neck jokes and that's it. But Liz has a lot of stuff going on with her. The presentation we wanted to go with in terms of her character bio sheet was somebody who's very, very focused, somebody who does not come from a lot and understands this. And because she understands this, then she makes the most of every opportunity that's given to her, and she squeezes out everything that she can from the school. This may some who may not get to know her can come off as maybe aloof, maybe elitist. To those of you who are actually her friends and call themselves her friends, then she's very stable. She is kind of the rock that a lot of people can hang their relationship on. And that just comes from somebody who doesn't have any room to fuck up.
When it comes to Liz, I'd say like one of her core beliefs is like as working on said, making the most out of everything that's like there for herself, and like that also comes into play with her friends. Like she carries, like she's a very caring person when it comes to the people in her life. Like she and Damien go together. Like I don't. That's a really good way to put it.
Well, she is. I mean, she's the classic pairing of Damien. If you have a character who has no filter, Liz is a character whose entire life is filtered. She has to make it very. She has to be very specific about the actions she takes in order for her to succeed, because she understands that she doesn't come from a position of historical success. So she has to make the most of every opportunity, and this includes her friendships as well. She makes the most of her relationships with Damien, with Inko, with Olivia, the relationship she had with the staff at St. Hammond. She's very much a go getter. Is possibly what you could define her as. But
yeah, don't take it to mean the wrong way. She's not like she doesn't use and abuse people like that. She's like she wants to see the best out of her friends as well.
yes,
So like she'll actually help them as much as they can help her. Like very much give and take from her part.
Yes, Liz is a unique character in that they want to they want the best for everybody, um, and that includes themselves. And they have correctly identified what they need to do to succeed, and they probably have identified what other characters need to do to exceed as well. Whether or not those characters want to accept that can be difficult. I mean, if your friend gives you a hard piece of advice to swallow, that can be difficult and that can cause friction. So Liz is a really interesting character because we can explore those spaces. We can we can kind of like play around with where Liz is unique, both in terms of comedic value, both in terms of her unique kind of situation. She's been a real joy to write with for. Excuse me.
Also, to address the chat, I'd say like cut her some slack. It's hard for her to see the keyboard from so far away.
I mean, this is where the comedic value comes in, which I think is. I mean, our artists have been having a field day with doing stuff for Liz. Her long neck and the flexibility of it gives us a lot of fun room. Um, you could see this from our trailer announcement, or excuse me, our announcement trailer, where one thing we're really going for is that Liz's neck and head operate independently from her body in terms of sprite work. And that's really been fun to do because we can have her body be static and then have her head moving around the scene, which is really, really enjoyable.
It's
Yeah, she
very
can be in two
fun.
places at once.
She can be, I mean, it's more than just being in two places at once. We can have two different expressions. We can have all the things that come with a character who's very filtered. When you see them unfiltered in a capacity that maybe they don't realize, you kind of see what they're really feeling, and that's been fun to do.
Yeah, she could be in the bathroom while still having a conversation with you.
And that's a very specific example, Sly. Thank you for that.
Sorry. The first thing that came to mind.
We all know what Sly's thinking about.
What can I say? She's a cute character.
And moving from one cute character to another,
Another fan favorite.
we can introduce our third character that we're going to talk about today, which is Mia. Mia occupies a very unique role in the story. Unlike the other characters, we're probably not going to delve as deeply into Mia as we necessarily would in these streams because we don't want to kind of give too much away. Mia has been almost a challenge, if more than anything, to write for. I think Mia is probably one of the most evolved characters, as well as Olivia, um, which in a lot of ways kind of reflects certain things that we're doing in the story. Mia's kind of aggressiveness that's on display in her character bio sheet here. I mean, you'll see that in the game, but you maybe won't see it in the way that you um, have seen with other characters. She's certainly one of a kind, which is of course uh, entertaining if you understand kind of um, everything about her. It's a character that I, as a writer, am very eager to kind of have people come to grips with. I think probably after Olivia, I think it's Mia who I find the most interesting to write for, and her role in the story. One element of Mia's that I'm sure everybody's noticed is that Mia is not somebody who allows. Mia is not somebody who operates alone. She has others kind of uh, looking out for her, so to speak. And when maybe she steps a little bit out of line, as evidenced from the character bio sheet here, maybe somebody is going to step in and kind of and correct her, nudge her back on the path that perhaps somebody like Mia should be on, or that person thinks Mia should be on.
That that brings us to a very interesting thing to point out. It's that when it comes to writing each of these characters, they're not in a vacuum. They're interacting with the world around them, with
Yes.
each other. They have they have their own motivations and everything, pushing against each other and everything, which
Yeah.
brings out a lot of interesting dynamics in the writing, in the story. Just seeing them bounce around against each other, alongside one another, and Mia's Mia's is definitely someone that she like she is very aware of the people that are in her environment and how they play into her own life.
Epic peacock moment.
Yeah, Sly, I think nailed it pretty well. These characters, when you're writing and constructing a narrative, you don't want to have a character that just exists for one purpose. You want to make them as fleshed out as possible. It's part of the reason why we did these character bio sheets. So as writers, we could come to grips of how to flesh them out, um, and then that makes them just more realized characters in the final product. And that's definitely something that has come to great fruition with Mia. Mia's, like I said, she's evolved, she's changed probably more than any other character besides Olivia, um, and the fruits of that evolution are, as I feel, on full display in the game. Moving on from Mia, we're going to go to our final character that we're going to show off for Wani. This is Ben. Like I said, the first character. Ben is, in many ways, if you had to align him with any other character, he would probably be most in line with Liz. Although, again, like Mia, there's a lot of hidden depth to Ben's character that, again, we can't kind of talk about for story reasons. From the presentation of Ben's character sheet, there's obviously a notable difference. Ben's is much more polished, much more, perhaps another P
Bombastic.
word is applicable here, pretentious.
I'd say bombastic.
Bombastic, that's a good word. Ben is a character who, like Liz, understands himself, but maybe not in the way everybody else understands him, and maybe not in the way that he is initially presented as. So Ben is another character that has a lot of stuff going along for him. I'd say if we've been ranking characters a lot in terms of kind of the enjoyment we've been getting for writing them. Ben for me is definitely somebody who's high up there. Ben has changed a lot, kind of what we've been with thinking for Ben. Although his kind of role in the story hasn't changed too much, but how we've been approaching it has changed a lot, I would say. You'll see Ben interact with a lot of the characters in Wani. He's certainly, I mean, if you wanted to designate him as a middleman between the two sets of the cast, you could. Although I think that'd be doing a disservice to his role in the story. But I think this character bio does a good job of showing off kind of the what Ben thinks of himself. This is a good representation of how Ben views himself. The way he answers these questions, the way he presents these questions, is very indicative of somebody who is putting on airs. And I think Ben is more than anybody is putting on airs. There's not a little bit of brown nosing going on, and I think that's going to come off in the script. Ben is an easy character to. Ben is an easy maybe punching bag character when you first initially view him, but I don't think that is at the end of the story. I don't think that role is going to be the same. I think he's going to really evolve across the narrative. And by the end of the story, I think the Ben that people are going to view is going to be really different than the Ben that is initially presented. Like I said, we can't give necessarily everything away, as much as we want to as writers to kind of like present these characters we spent a long time working on. We've got to save some stuff for the final product. Sly, did you want to speak on anything for Ben?
Um, where can I start with Ben? I think he had, like, as we've been writing and rewriting and retooling Ben, there are bits that have not changed, but a lot of how we've been presenting him has changed. So, hmm.
Yeah,
like,
that's what. Sorry, please continue, Sly.
sorry, it's I think one of the core aspects we've like highlighted with Ben is just when like how much he's interacting with Inko compared to the other characters, and how that like how they might initially seem very similar as people, but going further into the game, how that change how that changes with each route.
Yes, the relationship between Ben and Inko, more than any other besides Mia, or excuse me, besides Olivia, probably changes the most in each of the endings, and even each of the chapters, to be honest. So Ben's a very he's a character of, in many ways, of extremes, which is really enjoyable to kind of write for. Um, he is he occupies a unique role in the story that nobody else does, and it's fun to kind of like have that story or have that role in the story come to fruition. If there's no other comments that any of our team wants to make, we can go ahead and move on. We're going to move on to the exit portion of our stream today. Just a reminder that I Want to Hug That Gator is going to be available in quarter 4 of 2022. It's going to be available on Steam. It's also going to be available on other platforms as well, I'm sure. Um, Please, of course, wishlist the game and follow us on social media if you're interested. We're going to try to continue these updates and to give people more information as much as possible. So and with that, I think we're going to swap over to our other presentation for the exit crew. So bear with us for one moment here.
All right, very nice. So today we are going to have talk a bit more in depth about A Star in Her Eyes, the game featuring Lyra, and we also have some updates regarding the development of Exit, specifically with how the battle system is coming together. All right. Oh, all right. So regarding Lyra's game, it came out just a few days ago, as mentioned. One thing that these games really help us do a lot of is really go through and refine these character designs. Oh, hang on, it's not up. Is the stream working? All right, excellent. These really let us go crazy with refining the designs and how what other ways that we want to show off the characters that we maybe necessarily don't get a whole lot of chance to otherwise. Uh, for example, with Lyra's game, we were able to come up with a lot of ways to render Lyra, for example, a lot easier, a lot more streamlined. With each of these subsequent games, uh, we're making it so that the quality keeps on going up. If you will compare some of the CGs in this one to the CGs that we're seeing in a lot of the assets, and then those two sluggish, there's a consistent rising in quality. Uh, So she, A Star in Her Eyes, predominantly takes place, or it takes place in the early 2000s. We went out of our way to include a lot of. I just realized this is an old version of the CG. Whoops. Oh well. Uh, Sorry about that. Let me track down the actual version of this. That's my mistake. All right, would you mind posting that in, Heart? My bad. Uh, so a lot of the game just has a bunch of little references and things appropriate to the time frame. Uh, so a lot of it, it's a pretty decent setting to work around with, especially considering around the time things like the X Files and Aliens in general were really popular. There we go. That's the correct one. Uh, and it really helps to set the stage for a lot of things. And that's just regarding the setting. If you would move over to the other one that was sent. Okay.
I know how
Uh,
keyboards work.
yeah. So another example with these designs, and a lot of the designs in Exit are made in a way that, and I've talked about this before. It there's a different rule sets when you change whenever you have a more non-standard design. As an example, say in Snoot game, you had Fang, and then we came up with a bunch of behaviors and things that would only apply to her. The most obvious of these being wing hugs, and with extra examples being the patterns on her feathers. Uh, and then just other things like how the wings work, the snoot itself, a bunch of different rules that only apply to a character like that. The way that she uses the feathers on her elbows to jab at you. So it creates a lot of new rules. It allows for a lot more new opportunities that haven't been for interactions that haven't been done before as much. So with Lyra, as you can see on the screen here, one idea that we had that I'm pretty proud of is that when she would get emotional, you can start to see nebulas spread across her skin. Uh, and in the instance where she gets embarrassed, they have a nebula right in the middle there, acting as a blush. And you have a big old galaxy right there in the middle. So we have all the characters that we have. We have a number of ideas to do this for. I'm a really big fan of coming up with these different uh, rules, these different interactions that can only happen once you do certain things. Another example being, say, Dory. And she's a bit sluggish. Whenever the two main characters would interact, they would there would be a slight amount of electrical discharge since sea slugs carry salt water, and then the main character of that is a copper robot. And that's just one example. There's more to Star in Her Eyes that I don't want to spoil. It's a fairly short game. All of these are around 20 to 30 minutes. These are just fun little things that we put out whenever we reach a milestone regarding exit development. Sly, if you have any other comments you want to add.
I think you're on a good track for now, man. But I will say, like, again, interacting with each other play is a big part of the game, both in and outside of combat, even because, like, again, one of the core tenets of the game design is how they work together in different combinations and such.
All right, yeah, and obviously these are done in a way that they will be carrying over largely to exit and how exit is done. Uh, so with the next game, as mentioned, is going to be about Doom, and that's going to be the robot girl that we have. that has been described not by me but by others, and I'm going to roll with it as a tomboy robot. Very interesting combination of words, but it is what it is. That's going to be happening relatively soon. After that, we're going to be making the Tulip game as well, and then sometime during all this will be the demo for uh, Exit 665. Uh, Amazing. Okay. We also have a bit of news regarding how the battle system is being put together, and the lead programmer can talk about this briefly, or can talk about this for a while.
Okay, is that transition over to me?
Yeah.
Okay, what is up, fellow
Uh,
exit heads?
Oh,
We're
boy.
back. um, do we have the video on hand? Okay. I can. Let's just show off what we've done, or I should say that our very shy programmer has done today, or not today. He's done this over the course of the week. He's very shy. Come on, let's all clap for him. Everyone in chat, I want you to clap for him because he's done some magnificent work, and I'd like to show it off. Okay. I just realized that I can't see it because I was Twitch chat stream. Okay. Can someone send me a link real quick?
Yeah.
Everyone else can. Oh yeah.
There you go.
Epic and professional. Of course I have the video itself. I meant like a link to the Twitch stream because I don't actually I can't actually see what everyone else is seeing.
Okay, go ahead.
Did not click in my mind, but anyways, that blunder out of the way. Oh.
Yeah, keep replaying it.
Yeah, keep replaying it, man. Keep replaying it. Okay. So you're gonna you see this is a lot more polished than last time. If anyone remembers what happened last time. So the dev assets are beautiful, but just never minding that gloriousness. You can kind of get a hint at what the attack style of each of the characters is. I'm a personal fan of Honda's sort of baseball copy move, which that's a little hint at what he does. If you're read into the lore on the website, you guys would know. You should get some hints at what he can do.
There are literally people in chat right now that have not been to the website.
Oh wow!
Yeah. I see them. They are in rows 4 and 6.
I cannot believe this. Okay, you can call yourself a yickhead, or not a yickhead. You can call yourself a yickhead without visiting the website. You can't call yourself an exit head without visiting the website. Exit665.xyz. About as high quality as all of our stuff. So, I still love the time when Glitch made the collision with Peter Griffin crashed the game. Oh yeah, that. But yeah, it's coming along. It's getting polished. Now, all of this is kind of a bit stylish right now. We looked into getting things a bit more stylish to show off, but the back end's a little weak right now, and that's kind of what we're going to be focusing on a bit more now. Why is the stream black? Yeah, there we go. There we go. It's still going. Our guys got it. But yeah, we're going to be focusing a bit more on like stats and getting things working with that, so enemies are fun and interesting. Things like status effects. So if any of you guys have ever played Lisa the Pain 4 Darkest Dungeon, you might get a little bit of a taste of something similar there. Big fans of those games. Kind of want to integrate that stuff into the battle systems gameplay. And of course you can see that there's some mini games here going on. Some very, very comfy mini games that'll make actually fighting these guys pretty cool and interesting. Hopefully we don't blunder that. If we blunder that, feel free to yell at us. But we'll know by the time the demo's out if we blundered it. Anyways, yeah. For the most part, this is we've got a lot done in terms of getting characters into the game. We're gonna just tweak some stuff for passing data around internally, all that boring stuff that no one cares about. And that should just make it should make how do I say this? It should make things quicker development wise. But you got this little shiny thing in front of you. You can see that we're working on the game. We're not pulling a unnamed developer moment. I won't say who. You know, we got something to show. But anyways, I like really the video speaks for itself. I don't know what else I can add, except for asking for chat to thank our very shy programmer. Very shy, very meek. He's looking at he's in the corner of the room, behind a door, watching the stream.
Yeah, it's the one
He knows.
halfway through the door frame.
Yep. I'm not dropping any company names. I'm not dropping any individual names. Yeah, unnamed developer moment. Yeah, Leslie, great works. Thank you, programmer. You hear that? Yeah. I love. You get to leave the basement for a day.
Love to see more of this character in action. Ooh, can we put more of this character in?
Ooh,
More
which
of Mr.
character?
Smith here. I
Oh.
imagine Mr. Smith.
Yeah. I have been kind of I've been really kind of pushing to get this meme character and put somewhere an exit, polished and refined. Yeah, Smith. That's his name. If you get the joke, you get it. If you don't, you won't. But it's based off of a very funny sort of inside joke. You'll draw Smith fan art. Okay, maybe I should get. Should I get the character sheet then?
No.
Are you sure?
Oh,
Later.
Okay, later. Okay, so we'll send that out in an email to everyone. Got it. If you pre-order the game, you get the Smith character sheet.
Smith lore. Could stick it in the art book as well.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah, he's probably in the art book. Yeah. Okay, back to our main man. He's drawn again.
All right. So we're about the time where we should be starting to wrap up a bit. The last bit for exit. Writing's still going excellently. We're just wrapping the NPC dialogue up. It's a bit more complex than initially started because we got to take into account it's like the order that you talk to NPCs. What happens if you talk to them the first time when it's not the first time that NPCs appeared? It's a bit more complex than originally thought, but we're making decent progress on it. And that'll be it for writing. Assets, we just finished a pretty major milestone, getting a lot of stuff ready for the battle system. There's still a long way to go, but we're making decent headway, and we are. There's a clear path ahead for getting things perfectly ready for the demo to release. So we just have a. You're gonna take a few minutes, and we can answer a few questions for maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and then we will be getting off for the night.
Yeah, roll in those questions.
I saw someone had asked before if Mia would be bullying Liz. Is there any comments?
Yeah, we can comment a little bit about that. So, of course, Mia has evolved from a character who was known as a bully, kind of in the community and things like that. That's not necessarily her role in the story. She's not kind of a one-note paper mache like bully character that we can wheel out and have her be a kind of lame antagonist and do antagonist things. She's a lot more like nuanced about that. And again, we can't necessarily say any more beyond that. You just kind of it's kind of the we can't say what she is, but we can say what she's not, so to speak. So will she have scenes with Liz? Yes. Will she have scenes with Liz that are just her, quote unquote, bullying her? Well, maybe not.
True. One other thing I neglected to mention. So there's going to be another game coming out relatively soon on the 18th of this month. It's titled We Are OFK, and we plan on. So we already mentioned that we would be streaming Goodbye Volcano High once it comes out, doing a playthrough of that. Potentially completion playthrough, depends on how long the game is, but I'd like to be able to do that. So this game, we plan on streaming it and just giving it a shot, making sure everything works fine this time, so that when we get around to the real thing, it'll be a bit easier. So tune into that. It should be a chill time, should be a fun time. All right, so back to there's your announcements that'll be. We'll be posting about that as well on Twitter. What will Peter Griffin do in Exit? Do I have comments on that?
Oh yeah, I got many comments on that. Peter Griffin is not an exit. Stop mentioning it. It doesn't exist. Don't look into it.
Very true. There you go. There's your answer. Can't hide him. Yeah, we're not hiding him.
Yeah, we have nothing to hide. What are you talking about?
Okay. Is there anything else that I'm forgetting to mention that should be mentioned before the stream ends? Oh, a question about changing the Mo icon due to snoot associations. Mo is pretty in the clear. We should be fine with keeping him.
Not only is Mo legally in the clear, he's
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Meg Griffin.
No.
Marshally thought about any of that stuff for real. About if the characters would ever have voices. So I really can't say. I'm also not really familiar with a lot of famous voice actors or actresses. I only know a couple. Sly might know a few, and he might have a decent idea.
Yeah, I know a few. It's just There's one on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember her name. Oh god. She was really big at Funimation for a while.
Hmm.
Yeah, it'll come to me at some point.
Alright. It was mentioned a while back that there was a lot of songs made for Snoop Game that went unused. How many of those tracks have made their way into Wani or Exit, or is it too early to say? It is too early to say, but that is a subject that we have brought up. The musicians are doing a fantastic job at doing at putting together excellent soundtracks for both games. Really looking forward to a lot of the new tracks that are being made. There's a couple of remixes planned as well in regards to Wani specifically. But by and large, completely new tracks, especially for Exit. But yeah, there's a number of unused tracks and work in progress versions and etc. Uh, it might be cool at some points in the future to post those in some capacity, but that's just a thought off the top of my head. Probably not going to happen.
You never know. Always opportunities to post them on, I don't know. I think Bandcamp was the site.
Bandcamp and SoundCloud, but I don't know what our musicians probably have opinions.
The Cavemanon SoundCloud. What would that be? The Drum Circle?
That'd be kind of cool.
Inko voiced by Steve Buscemi. You know what? I would be down for that.
That would be cool.
That would be fun.
All I do know is that Lyra is Russian, so she might have a Russian accent.
Yeah, you're revealing all the lore all at once, man. Come on, we have to hide something for Exit.
Oh yeah, dang, they know that Space Lady is, because, Space and Sputnik and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Can I mention the other Slavs? Because there are two other Slavs in Really? You don't?
You know what? Mention one and leave the other one up for who can guess it.
Yeah, alright.
Okay. Can I mention it then?
I've been chat which one. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Forelli's Finnish. So have fun with that knowledge.
Yeah.
So
Epic finish nonsensical babbling.
Yeah, please make
she's
mini
excited.
gondola edits.
Lyra, but she's voiced by Dr. Mrs. the Monarch.
Oh boy.
Yeah, she's finished. Oh no, what have I started? I can rarely be finished if the demo's not out. No, wrong finished. Sorry, chat. She's not finished. She's finished. I know, very similar terms. Venus,
True.
yes.
I have you have a question, but you need certain context that you forgot.
Weird.
Oh,
Alright,
we can't
so
help you with that.
very fun bit, as mentioned again. Please check out A Star in Her Eyes. I will get a link to get posted. Alright. Working on if you'd be so kind to post that in chat.
Sure.
And on the 18th, we'll be attempting to stream We Are OFK and working through whatever technical difficulties we may encounter along the way. And that'll is about it for now. If there's any absolute final comments on our side. Going once, going twice.
Oh, someone said, how many Eve references are you going to put into Exit? Just as a last question. I'm not going to go and ruin this man.
Who's Eve? I don't know that person.
Who is this Eve that you speak of?
Like Evangelion?
Yeah, I don't know. Is that the guy from Wall-E?
Oh no!
Yeah.
Are we going to have Ray and Asuka in the game?
Yeah, so I think he's talking about Evangelion. I don't know. I haven't watched it. I don't
He's
think we have
talking
any.
about that. I mentioned that I'm really a big fan of that one animator, Waboku, because he has a really excellent style. We're not sticking a whole lot of references in. Just like a couple that are just off the top of my head but we're like obviously not just going to be overloading the entire thing with as many references as we can think of.
Dang it, okay. I was going to keep the joke going. Yeah, Scandinavians. So people are commenting on the fact that we have Scandinavians in the game. No Norwegians, to my knowledge.
No, there is one.
There's one.
Yeah.
I guess I'm gonna have to quit Exit. You know.
Very sad.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if that's going to be all, Bonkel reference and Exit, way ahead of you. If that's going to be all, we can be signing off for now. This is Nerd. Thank you for joining us today, and that'll be it from me. Person streaming, go ahead and give us a countdown, and everyone else say your goodbyes.
This is live.
Thanks for coming and watching, everybody.
Goodbye, Chad. I've been eating a plate of spaghetti.
See you next stream. Hope to see you on the We Are OFK stream.
Yes, thank you everybody for joining. Thank you for all your questions. Again, please check out our social media for more fun stuff.
It's over. It's literally over. I'll paint you guys with the Smith fan art. I don't know.